Good evening. Welcome to Hashtag Got Money. I'm Elizabeth Jackson. I get excited about property, and I know that you, my listeners, know that about me. I'm a nut bar when it comes to it. And my pledge, my mission, my absolute mission is to help as many of those that are struggling to get into their own property, into a property. And I think for me, it's all about getting in the way of generational poverty. And I know that's a huge statement. But when you own one home, what's possible is another home, and what's possible is the ability for your children to get in a home. And I'm with a really smart man, and I hunted him. I stalked you, didn't I, Matt?
Did.
I did.
You did.
I did. It was Christmas, and nobody was thinking about real estate except for me. And I found Matt. I found you on one of the websites that I go to. You should have some kind of dramatic drum roll. 0 deposit homes.
Correct.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Correct. It is.
So, Matt, unpack that for us. Firstly, why? I love the idea, but why did you decide to get into this space?
Well, I think I was pretty similar to you, Liz. I got introduced to this to a close friend of. He said, Matt, I've got something that I think you might be interested in. Can we catch up and have a look at it? And I said, yeah, sure, no problems. And when he shared with me what the plan of attack was, I instantly fell in love with the message, and that's where it all began. So.
And you kicked it off when? When did the program start?
So we launched November 1.
Yeah.
We started work about 2 months earlier. So to launch from 2 months from inception to going live was a pretty extreme 2 months. That's for sure. So. 4 months operating now, which is really good, and we're going great. We're helping a lot of people.
So 0 deposit. That's such a big claim.
Zero deposit.
Zero deposit houses. I want to say that again.
And it's not a savings plan.
You realise that people have actually crashed their cars right now, right? There are accidents on the streets of Melbourne and throughout Australia. So 0 deposit houses. Talk to me about how that works.
Yeah, so fortunately we were able to connect with a really good finance firm who have worked tirelessly to put this together. So 0 deposit is 0 deposit. It's a product that we've been able to put together with a lot of hard work. How it works is essentially, providing that you're responsible and that you've got good spending habits and you're able to support having a mortgage, we can get you into the property with no deposit. We actually fund quite a decent proportion of a deposit for you also, so it's actually better than it sounds.
And that's the thing. I posted this on Facebook, and I had to keep saying it over and over and over again, because I know that the nature of human being is to be cynical. What's the catch?
100%.
And it's actually better than just 0 deposit. And that's why I wanted you to come into the studio, so you could start to kind of explain and we can dig into that a little bit more. So tell me why it's better than just that.
Well, there's a number of reasons. So the first thing is, and I don't know how technical you want me to get.
Yeah, go there.
Technical.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's dig into this.
Okay, so bank acronyms LVR is called stands for lend to value ratio. So essentially, what banks will do is base their offering on a certain lend to value ratio, and generally you need sort of 10%, 20%. You can get in with 5%, but it's not favourable for various reasons, with mortgage insurance and whatnot. So we've been able to source a 95% lend product, which comes as a non-gen savings. So non-gen savings is something where you can source the funds from anywhere. It doesn't need to be saved over a period of time, doesn't need to be accrued, and that's very hard to come across. It's very rare, but we're actually funding that 5% deposit for purchases.
See that? Did you hear that? So they fund the 5%.
They fund it for you in partnership with our developers. So at retail prices, so the prices are very good. So you're essentially getting into a property with embedded equity
already in it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And we haven't even spoken about mortgage insurance.
No, I know. And you try and explain that there's a 5% gift in the purchase. And there's some head scratching around that too, because the generosity that's involved in bringing this into the space is just extraordinary. Okay, so there's 5%. How do we make up the rest of that deposit amount? Is there more to come?
No, there's not. So that's essentially it. So one of the other key benefits to this, and talking about lenders' mortgage insurance is, hey presto, there is none.
I know.
Which
and
in
that's
itself
kind of what
is
I'm getting.
amazing.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, because you said to me the other day, I knew that lenders' mortgage insurance was hefty, and you said to me the other day it's between $20,000 and $22,000 and $23,000. Is that right?
Generally, as a rule, as a guide, I mean, it's different with each lender. Well, it depends on how much deposit you've got, and
yeah, so that it's on a variable, but essentially, if you go the whole hog, that's what you're going to have out of pocket.
yeah, and generally, what will happen is some banks will allow for you to lend that mortgage insurance. So what actually occurs is that you pay that off over 30 years, and it will cost you about double that amount as well. So you're really on a bit of a hiding to none as a start off.
So your program you get a gift of 5%.
Merry Christmas.
And thank you for coming, Santa. Lovely to see you. And then there's no lender's mortgage insurance.
No lender's mortgage insurance.
God. Okay, so let's talk about the other good aspects about this.
The other good aspect. Yeah, so one of the challenges that especially first home buyers face when they're building a home is that once they settle on the land, if they're building a house and land package, they actually start paying off their mortgage before the home is built. So most people are renting at the same time, so they pay their rent, they pay their mortgage, and obviously as the house is being built, the mortgage actually goes up as the house progresses. So it's really hard for people. So we wanted to make this an extremely, extremely strong offering to people. So we're actually funding the construction costs, so you don't start paying your mortgage until you move in.
I know, I love that. That is the boom. Listen, if I do have a mic, I'm in a studio, I'm surrounded by mics. Just imagine me dropping a mic and going boom, because that is unheard of. You must be so busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could say that.
Where's the land? So where are we taking our clients and our customers?
Yeah, we've got a really, really good range of options from a land point of view. I guess you going back to the whole question of what's the catch, and you did say that.
Okay, run that.
Yeah, so the catch is I guess that you can't develop everywhere. We can't do it for you in every development. It needs to be with development partners that are on board. But so we launched in Melbourne, Vic Metro, on November 1, as you know, and we've now gone up to Queensland, and we're launching in Geelong soon. But pretty much all of the growth corridors around the Melbourne Vic Metro, so the southeast, the north, the west.
All the areas where everybody wants to move into, you've got land there.
Yes, yeah, and really good options too. We're working with high quality developers, world-class developers that have been around for a long time. They've been in operation for 70 years. They're the third biggest builder in Australia of detached homes, and when you couple that up with the developers we're working with, you're getting a very credible package and offering as well.
So how does it work? I'm at home, I've just heard this entire segment, and I'm busting out of my guts to get in touch with you. How does it work from there? Yeah,
so I mean, we look, it's really a finance first, hence the money show coming on here. It's a finance first product, so we're very, very meticulous with understanding your position first, discovering whether or not this is going to be a product that works for you from a financial point of view. And we don't even talk homes with people traditionally before we tick that off, because we don't want you to go to the shops and start shopping and not knowing how much is in your bank account. So look, that is the first thing that we tick off, and we have a great finance team that we partner with as well, who take you through that process. We usually meet up with our clients in our head office, take them through that journey, try and get them a pre-approval set up so that we know that we're not going to, I guess, set them up for failure. Finance
first should be the first thing you do anyway, anytime you're considering property. We do not want a fail rate at this program. We want people to be successful in their purchasing.
We don't want people going into things that are going to cause grief for them down the track. So they are quite particular with who they take on board. You do need to be a responsible person. big gambling activities and all sorts of naughty things will affect your ability to get approved for this kind of product. And there's a lot of regulators in place that make sure that we are responsible with our lending. So
good. So when someone comes through, the conversation will be initially about your capacity to borrow. You've got to complete that fact find.
yes,
Don't think that you can get a property on a half completed fact find, because you can't.
No.
And they can't do an assessment, and they can't help you unless you're prepared to give it all up. And that's everything, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're also quite proud of ourselves. We like to think we're quite innovative. We've got some really, really fantastic tools and systems that we use. A very good online system that takes you through the process of completing your documents and acquiring all of the information that we need quite seamlessly. And we also have a new interactive tool that we're launching soon as well. Yeah, so it's not
Tell me about that, because I'm really excited about this tool.
Yeah.
Go through it.
So am I.
Right. Yeah. It's going to change the space entirely.
Yeah, I've been telling our team that it's coming for about 4 months now, and a lot of work's gone into it. It's a completely interactive tool that takes you through the journey of selecting, a package that works for you. It's not obviously a display home. We don't have display homes. This is a digital model. It's a bit different to, I guess, how builders do it traditionally in Victoria. So we wanted to ensure that we have good quality tools for people to be able to see. We've got high quality images and selection tools that you can go through. It's quite fun. It's like
it's like piecing together your dream home, isn't it? Essentially,
it is. Yeah. So and it's a bit of a it's got a lot of good tracking mechanisms in it as well, so that we're only looking at things that fit within your budget, within the locations that you're looking for.
That's good. So really what you're doing is, once you get the financial assessment back from... So let me just put a caveat around this too. They're not actually sending all the financial information off of the line, are they?
No, it's not an application. So the fact find is really, as it sounds, a fact find. It's where are you at? And we'll generally have a conversation with people first and say, look, is it okay to ask you some questions around your current financial position? If they say yes, which they usually do, it's we'll take them through a list of qualifying questions, and that'll give us a pretty good idea as to whether it's worthwhile sending the fact form through to them. And if we do, we send that through, and then we go from there. And that's when we start talking property areas, selections. And I'm really, really big on digging into the emotional side of why it is that people want to get into a property: financial freedom, or independence, or setting up something for their family. So we're the fun brand, and we want to be the caring brand. We don't want to be, I guess, aligned with stigmas of some property professionals. We want to be the trusted ones.
And I got that too. I met with Matt a couple of times before we looked at the solution, and you don't get anyone that's more considered around the care of his clients than Matt. And he's hired a team around him that feel exactly the same way. So they're not traditional salespeople. They're people that care about the experience of the client and then take them through the journey. So it's actually quite a warm experience. It's considered. And I think the other thing too, so here's my big worry about the program. I'm worried that we're only going to have this program for 6 months. I'm worried that this isn't going to be around long term.
We might have it for less. It's not a never ending offer. I'm hopeful that we're going to have it for a long time.
Yeah. We'll
be working very hard to try and ensure that we can do that. But it's definitely, it's a legitimate limited offer. I hate saying that, but it's we have a certain amount of funds that are available to this, and once that's exhausted, we'll be reviewing it, and we'll see whether or not it works and whether we get more. And that's really the key thing to the whole offer.
I think what's happening out there is that we've got these really generous land developers that are participating in the program, and as we see the market reinvigorate and regenerate and more buyers coming back to the market, the program, I think, and I'm making this up, might be less attractive to them because they can get a full 10% deposit from another client. So I think that if you've wanted to get into a home and you're not sure how to do it, I think this is the program, don't you?
I 100% think it's the program. 100%.
I feel like I'm being a little bit, there's a lot of nepotism running through my veins at the moment. Okay, so finance, property selection, document signing?
Yeah.
Okay, and then talk to me about the interest rate. So what are you paying, what's your out-of-pocket expenses to be a part of this program?
So the interest rate is 4.65%, which some people may think is quite high. It's actually a very attractive interest rate for the nature of the product, which we're really happy with. Obviously the benefits of not paying your mortgage insurance and deposit components and repayments during construction mean that you're on a very attractive setup from a finance point of view. So it's a little bit higher than what you would get with a mainstream lender, so that needs to be considered when you're looking at your options. And obviously it ties back in with the whole responsible, are you going to be able to manage this once you move in? So
within the lending, somebody asked me this the other day, can you refinance the product, and when can you start looking at refinancing?
Yeah, you can. So absolutely. So obviously there's a little bit of equity in there already, and that really plays a big part as to how accessible refinancing becomes.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely you can. If you've got the capacity to do so, then for sure, we don't want to tie you into something that doesn't suit you 2 years down the track.
Is this only for first-time home buyers?
It's not. The zero deposit offering is only for first home buyers. You need to be an owner-occupier, and second home buyers are welcome to come and speak with us. They will need some savings, but it will be a substantial amount less than what it would be if you were going through a traditional lender.
Are they full turnkey properties?
They are, yeah. So they don't come with back landscaping. There's a few things that don't come with the home, but for all intensive purposes, it's a finished home. All your light fittings, window treatments, floor coverings, painting, internal, external letterbox, the whole lot, driveway is done. So usually with a construction, if you're just buying the base product, it will come without a lot of those things.
Yeah.
So this is a house that you can move into and start living in straight away. Yeah. So.
Could it just be good old plain fashion fear? Because you know what, there's something about buying a home.
I love fear.
I do too, shit, yeah. Yeah. I'll jump out of a plane.
Yeah, like it's such a fascinating thing, and I really talk to my team about fear a lot as well, and trying to help people address their fears, because I think you're spot on. That is a big component.
I think it's just fear. And the understanding here too is you're not buying a property from a fly-by-night team. You're buying it from professionals who, 75 years in the market?
70 years in the market.
70 years in the market.
Lifetime structural warranties.
A lifetime structural warranty. Well, I talk about my experience in London. Real estate here in Melbourne is still relatively cheap. It's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah.
And I think that gets lost somewhere. So if you're not going to buy at zero deposit now, I'd strongly suggest that you're not going to buy. Would that be fair?
Yeah, and what happens with a lot of people, and this is just the reality, is that they get stuck chasing their tail a little bit, because I go to a lot of industry events and seminars. I had some fantastic economists come up and speak, and so we're fortunate to have insights as to what's happening, and all predictions are that Melbourne's in a very, very good position to start really growing again. Not necessarily boom, but start growing. And what that means is that people will need more deposit.
Yeah, and the value of the property goes up. When Matt and I met, what we both know about real estate is this. On average, properties increase in price by about $3,000 a month. So if you're sitting in a property, that property is going up on average $3,000 a month. You don't get that if you're not in a property.
Yeah, it's the wonder of leverage, and that's the difference. People often asking me, Matt, what's the difference between shares and property? And property is, the difference is because they generally grow at about the same rate, give or take.
Yeah, they do too. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, share market's a little bit stronger by a couple of percent, I think, annually as a guide. But you don't have the leverage. You need to put your hard-earned money into it. When you put your hard-earned money into a property, you've got something that's working for you on a much bigger scale. So. And
we have 300 people a day move into Melbourne. So what that means is growth.
140,000 people a year at the moment moving to Melbourne. We'll overtake Sydney as the highest population shortly. We have more people moving to Victoria than all of the other 6 states combined outside of Sydney. something along those lines.
Yeah, we're gonna squash Sydney. Matt, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Just great. I love your scheme. Anything you want to finish on?
Oh, look, I mean, congratulations to you on your show. It's a great show, and I love your enthusiasm and share your passion for helping people get ahead. And you know, all of those people out there that want to get into property, you know, not necessarily through us, do it.
Yeah.
Just back yourselves and be smart and make a good decision. And you know, best of luck.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, thank you, mate. Everyone, we're here for you. #GotMoney. Any questions for any of our team, please go right ahead and send them through. Have a great week, and I look forward to hanging out with you next week.
See ya.
26 minutes.
That was fun.
You nailed it.